Hey guys, today we're doing the Zoids Wild Raptor that you can see here. I'm going to unbox the kit, show you how it's built, and then we're going to check it out in action. And in the interest of less front loading, let's just get started.
Alright, let's take a look here. First of all, as you can see from the size of this box here, in case you were wondering, no, this is not the same size as the Gill Raptor. This is actually a relatively small wind-up Zoid. Um, Nothing too unusual going on here. So it's Wild 9, Photoshop cover art, box art. And the back shows actually no bone mode. That's interesting. Other than that, you've got, all the usual stuff here. Like I said in the last one, Takara Tomy has always liked to keep these things consistent, so no surprises here. Let's take a look what's in there as I open the box with my with a Warhammer tool. Okay, obviously digital camo insert. Let's get rid of the box. S bag, A bag, very little in the B bag. Uh, Instructions. Um, the A bag looks surprisingly full, actually, for a wind-up model. That's interesting. So, let's open this one first. I'm just realizing I have a don't have a knife handy, but that's no problem. Okay, the cap's falling all over the place. These are a sort of a maroon color here. Um, Eyepiece, stickers. This is the motor. I think this looks different from the other ones. It's almost exactly like an 80s release wind-up motor. It's kind of interesting. And here's the pilot. Yeah, I mostly just opened this back first because I wanted to see what the motor looks like. So yeah, here's what it looks like, I guess. It's sort of a more angular shape than the old ones, but other than that, it's pretty much. Actually, there's these. You see here, there are these exposed gears. I wonder what these are gonna do. Anyway, let me get the rest of this stuff out of the box, and then we'll take a look how it goes together. So we start by putting the eyepiece um, into the top of the head. It's the very first step of the instructions, and like I said earlier, the reason why there's clearly no bone mode, because it's not bone mode if it's got the glowy eyes in, right? So there we go. Now next we need this piece, which spans like the entire length of the torso apparently. And the head goes on top of this and snaps into place like so. I'm sorry, this looks silly. Now, what do we got next? A3, that would be this piece, which appears to drive the head movement because it goes through here and then it locks into place here like so. So see, clearly this is some sort of mechanism that opens and closes the mouth. The instructions want me to check something, which is whether this is in the right place, and it is. So I put this to the side. Now we need the body halves, specifically this one. We need the motor, which goes in here. Okay, and then this whole neck assembly snaps into place here. Right? That looks correct. And the other half of the torso goes on here, and as usual snaps together a bit squishily. Is that a word, squishily? Well, I just decided it is. Okay, so here's how I guess the mouth opens and closes. As usual, this feels a bit stiff, but it's probably going to be okay. So now we put one of the legs in place here. Hold on, gotta make sure that this is where it's supposed to go so that it'll actually walk. We put a cap on here, and now look at this. This is the arm. This isn't even a separate piece, it's molded straight into the torso. And we put a cap on here to make it look like it's jointed. Yeah, it's a bit pathetic, folks. And then there's this claw here that is meant to fit on this foot. Or is it? Yeah, that is the correct one. There's the second one that I'm going to have to look for now because I just realized I can't see it in front of me right now. Okay, this is a bit tight. Okay, now it fits. And now, okay, quick survey of my table reveals that a part seems to be missing, so I'm going to stop the camera real quick. Right, bad news, guys. This piece here, little extra claw that goes on the foot here that just magically appeared on my cutting mat, as far as you guys are concerned, was actually missing from my kit. Now, there's a, as you can probably guess, like around this cutting mat here is a giant mess that you're just not seeing because of where I'm pointing the camera. So who knows, you know, it might be hiding somewhere here between my paint jars because it went flying when I opened the back, but I really don't think so. I think this part's just missing, which is pretty crappy. Also, like as an overseas customer, I'm guessing I have no recourse whatsoever. I'm just gonna get stiffed. Yeah, luckily I bought two. I'm buying two of each one of these Zoids Wild Kids. I've mentioned this a couple of times before because I want to eventually paint one. So I have another one, but I had to get this from my other one, and now that one's incomplete. So that sucks. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably just gonna have to buy another one. Thankfully, it's a part missing from one of the cheap kits. So anyway, this goes on here. The leg goes on here, and I have to somehow get this. Yeah, that looks correct. Okay, rubber cap. You know what's also funny, of course, is like this toe is a separate piece, and then the entire arm is just molded into the torso. Stupid. Okay. So that completes the leg assembly, and it's actually already standing up on its own power. Now, this is some sort of, some sort of hip piece that the tail attaches to, like so. And then we have another piece that goes on top, like that. And that's a whole mechanism here that is going to allow the tail to move, no doubt. And that goes on here, like so. So tail mechanism of roughly the same complexity as a simpler battery-operated Zoid from the olden days, but no moving arms. Okay. This little gun type thing that goes on the chest here. Obviously, this is the key to wind it up. I'm just going to put it here for now. Points backwards, according to the instructions anyway. It kind of tucks in nicely between these greebles here, so that's pretty cool. It's basically invisible once it's in. See? Okay, now I have to flip over the instruction pamphlet. Hold on. Check out my awesome sleeve. Okay, what we got first? Something I don't quite understand. This seems to be like the Wild Blast mode parts. Hold on, this looks a little confusing. I need this, B1, and also one of these claw parts, B2. Yeah, B2. Here we go. So, this goes on here. I think. Like that. Yep. And then this claw thing goes in between here. Oh, now I get it. Okay. It just looks weird because all these parts are like these curvy, you know, armor type things, but this is actually a claw. Kind of a shame that it's red like the rest of the kit, but I mean the rest of the armor when it's not actually armor but a blade. Okay, now this Come on. This goes here, holds this in place. Obviously this is going to move forward somehow for the Wild Blast mode. And it kind of holds this tail piece in place, but not really. What else? Next we have the armor for the neck, which goes on like this. And finally, the head armor. Oh, hold on. What's this? Oh, right. So, crest type thing that goes on the head. Okay, now it officially looks like a rooster. Pocka 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 cow. Random Arrested Development reference for you guys there. Okay, here's the other half of the head armor, which as usual snaps together like this, which as usual leaves us with a massive seam line in the middle. It's not one of the things I like about Zoids Wild. And finally, this is actually not armor, this is more like a motorcycle seat for the pilot. And the pilot attaches in like that. Okay, here he goes. All right, so yeah, that's the Raptor all put together. Pretty damn massive for a wind-up Zoid, I have to say. It's really big. Really makes me feel a bit bad about what I said earlier about this being a relatively small wind-up. It's not. It's pretty huge. Okay, I'm going to get this guy set up in my light box so that I can test the walking movement, and then we'll take a look at what it all, what it does.
And what it does is walk with its tail swinging, of course. The tail swinging is a first, if I remember correctly, but it walks about the way you'd expect a bipedal wind-up Zoid to walk. You'll also notice that the mouth doesn't open and close. That mechanism is so that it opens when you change it to Wild Blast mode, which you see here. It looks kind of cool, but obviously that big contraption seriously messes with its balance and it's having a hard time walking, but it does still work. So, what's the verdict? Pretty good, I'd say. I'm still not so sure about the overall angry chicken look, but if you compare this to earlier similar models like the Rev Raptor, I think it stacks up pretty nicely in terms of complexity, and it's pretty big too. It does suffer from a serious lack of armor though, like a lot of the other models. I really don't understand why there's no armor on the limbs here. It would have obviously looked better with at least something on the upper part of the legs. But other than that, this is one of the good ones. And it's a totally new and fresh design that isn't just an update of an older model, which is definitely a plus, and it also shows what I said about the Knuckle Kong, which is that Takara Tomi's designers are still experimenting and trying new stuff. And that's it for this one, guys. I had fun making this, so I hope you have fun watching. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you soon with the tricky, the big yellow one.